There's a place just outside town, hidden by gnarled oaks and creeping vines. Locals call it Black Hollow Cemetery. They'll warn you not to go there after dark, but they won't say why. Maybe it's because they're afraid to speak it out loud, afraid that the cemetery might hear them. And remember, legend has it, Black Hollow wasn't always a graveyard. Long ago, it was a sacred ground for an ancient, nameless cult. They performed rituals under the full moon, rituals meant to call something that was never meant to cross into our world. When the settlers came and drove the cult away, they thought the land was just another patch of earth. They buried their dead there, never realizing they were planting seeds in cursed soil. At first, it was little things. Graves disturbed in the night, strange symbols carved into headstones. But then, people started seeing figures, shadowy, unnatural things that moved between the tombstones. Some said they heard whispers, voices calling their names from the darkness. "Come, closer," they'd say. "We've been waiting for you." One night, a group of teenagers decided to test their courage. They went to Black Hollow armed with flashlights and bravado, laughing at the stories. But laughter dies quickly in the dark. The deeper they went, the colder it got, until their breath came out in white clouds, even though it was summer. And then the fog rolled in. They said the fog came from nowhere, thick and suffocating. It swallowed their flashlights, their voices, and eventually, each other. One by one, they disappeared, their screams echoing into silence. Only one boy made it back. His hair was white as bone, his eyes hollow, and he never spoke again. The only thing they found of the others were their shoes, neatly lined up at the cemetery gate. To this day, Black Hollow Cemetery remains untouched. No one dares to bury their dead there anymore. But every now and then, on a moonless night, you might see the fog rising from the ground. And if you're foolish enough to get close, you might hear the whispers, feel the icy grip of unseen hands. And if you're very unlucky, you'll find out what's been waiting there all these years. But don't worry, the graveyard is patient. It knows that sooner or later, everyone comes to Black Hollow. But there's more to this place than anyone's willing to admit. Some believe the cult's rituals left scars in the earth, cracks where reality itself is thinner. One old caretaker swore he saw something crawl out of a grave one night. Not a corpse, but something older. He quit the next day and left town without a word. Others talk about the strange lights that sometimes hover over the graves, flickering like ghostly lanterns. No one knows what they are, but they always disappear when someone tries to get too close. And then there are the stories of the Watchers. Some say they're the spirits of the cult members, bound to the land they once called sacred. Others think they're something far worse, entities that don't belong in this world at all. Witnesses describe them as tall, shadowy figures with glowing eyes that seem to burn like embers. They don't move like normal creatures. They glide, silent and unrelenting, always just out of reach, until they're not. There was a woman once, a reporter investigating the cemetery for a local paper. She was skeptical, thought it was all just small-town superstition. She went in with a camera and a tape recorder. The footage she shot was never released, but the sounds on the tape, they say it's enough to drive a person mad. Her family found her the next morning, sitting on her front porch, rocking back and forth, mumbling something over and over. They're watching. They're always watching. Perhaps the most chilling story is about the open grave. Near the center of the cemetery, there's a plot where the earth never stays settled. No matter how many times it's filled in, by the next morning, it's open again. Some say it's a portal. Others believe it's waiting for someone or something. People who've stood near it describe a feeling of being pulled, like invisible, hands reaching up from the darkness below. Remember, some places are better left alone. And some doors, once opened, can never be closed. But if you're ever near Black Hollow Cemetery and you feel the urge to step inside, Resist it. Because once the graveyard knows your name, it never forgets.